Anyone who reads or watches the One Piece series knows that it can get absolutely weird, but Queen, in his Brachiosaurus form, takes things to new levels of absurdity.
This definitely rates about a 9.0 on my weird shit-o-meter.
Powerful Nerdcast assemble!
Stay dandy, baby. Greetings, my fellow Nakama, and welcome to another review of the One Piece manga series. Today, we're taking a look at chapter 1028, which finally gives us the beginnings of the major battle between Sanji and Queen. But, of course, before we begin this review, if you are not subscribed to my channel, go ahead. Do it right now so you can check out all of my latest videos. For my subscribers who are already a part of my channel, make sure to hit that bell notification icon. It's going to let you know when all my videos are released. And of course, if you are liking this video, transform into your favorite dinosaur and smash the like button right now. And of course, if you want to go that little extra mile in supporting the channel, please check out my Patreon page. You'd be helping the channel by supporting it financially, and you'd be making me pretty friggin' happy. Not to mention, I would love to add your name to this list of amazing people that you see on screen. These are the prehistoric producers of Ace Guru. So, guys, let's go ahead and jump into this chapter right here, which is really amazing because we are finally going to go to Sanji versus Queen. Now, there's a number of other developments this week, but the one thing that I really want to talk about is that color spread. I love a good color spread when it comes to One Piece, and this one made me incredibly happy because it was an homage to one of my favorite video games of all time, Super Smash Bros. The timing of it could not be more perfect. Just this week, on the release of this chapter, we actually got the final character who's going to be in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, so the timing just could not be more perfect. But this color spread, guys, oh my god, it is freaking amazing. Essentially, you have Nami and Usopp who are playing a game of Smash Bros., and all the other Straw Hat Pirates are actually representations of characters from those games, so let's talk about each one. First and foremost, Nami and Usopp are playing. They're clearly playing Smash Bros., no Final Destination, and no GameCube controllers. I know they can't do that shit, Nintendo would jump down their throats, but still, it's a nice little detail. But let's talk about these characters. First, Zoro. He could be no one other than Link, and he's probably the clearest representation of a Nintendo character in this color spread, and he looks amazing. Another really great one that I loved was Frankie as Donkey Kong. It just makes sense. He's a big, bulky guy. Of course, he would be the giant, dopey gorilla. Luffy, on the other hand, was kind of surprising. They actually turned him into Ken from Street Fighter, which I thought was really cool, and in a way, it's almost kind of like a veiled homage to Ace, considering, of course, that he used fire. Now Luffy's using it. Luffy's been using the Red Hawk and all those other abilities, so it actually does kind of work. Nico Robin is also in this color spread, and it's kind of hard to miss her as she sort of blends in with the background, and she's not a Nintendo character. She actually seems to be based on Morrigan from Darkstalkers, which I guess is appropriate, but I'm surprised they didn't choose someone a little more like attuned to her, like say Princess Peach or Daisy or something. And then of course we have Chopper. I don't know what the fuck Chopper is. He looks like some sort of weird combination of like a monkey or Charizard. I cannot make it out. I don't even think Oda really knew what he was drawing in this moment. But of course you have Jinbei, who is one of my favorite characters, and of course he's one of my favorite Nintendo characters here. He's basically a play on Mario, but I love the detail of the M being switched out for the J. I thought that that was actually pretty appropriate. Brook, I don't know what the fuck Brook is. He looks like unlike any character I've seen from Smash Brothers. He looks more like a Katamari Damacy type of character. It really doesn't make much sense at all. And then Sanji was one that really tripped me up. I couldn't quite put my finger on it, but I think he's actually an Inkling from Splatoon. He seems to have like that Super Soaker kind of weapon in his hands, but his overall costume is very strange, leaning a little bit more into his Germa 66 outfit, which is kind of appropriate for this chapter. We'll get to that later. Basically, what I'm trying to say is this is one of my favorite color spreads that I've ever seen, and if I had any advice for the anime team, it's like, take a lot of these color spreads and somehow insert them into the intro in some sort of cool way, because I want to see these animated, and this looks like it would be one that would be really fun to see. So yeah, as a Smash Brothers fan, I ate this one up. But enough video game bullshit, let's talk about the chapter proper, and there's some pretty big things going on in this one. Like I said, we have Queen and Sanji, but we also have the reintroduction of CP0, who's continuing to do what they do best, which is being incredibly cryptic and mysterious, especially the ones who haven't revealed their faces quite yet. One I'm going to simply refer to as the CP0 boss. He's the one who actually wears the bowler hat, and he's actually talking with someone who at the beginning of the chapter is very mysterious. They're kind of going over their plan about what's going to happen when this whole conflict with Kaido is actually going to wrap up. And there's a couple of big details here. First and foremost, if Luffy actually manages to defeat Kaido, essentially CP0 is just going to move in on Wano country, and they're going to try to force them to join the world government. That's probably not going to work out too well, and it shows that even when this conflict is over, another one is just around the corner. But the bigger detail here is that no matter what happens, Kaido wins, Luffy wins, they gotta get Nico Robin. That's pretty much the big thing about CP0 in this chapter. Ever since they introduced them way back in the Enies Lobby arc, their #1 mission was to get Nico Robin and to shut her up. She has way too much information about the mysteries of this world, and it can completely shake up the entire search for One Piece, the history of the Void, everything Joy Boy, all that important, super deep lore of One Piece. So I'm glad that they actually decided to bring that up, because it's a pretty big deal. And of course, we get the big reveal here that the CP0 boss is speaking to none other than Leopard Man Rob Lucci, a fan favorite character for the series. It was great to finally see him again. I hope he's gonna have some relevance. The only things that we've really seen from Rob Lucci in terms of like the post-time skip is that he's made a few appearances in some of the anime movies, but this is an opportunity to bring him back and reestablish that while maybe in the grand scheme of things now he might not be the most powerful character, I want to see how far he's evolved since his defeat from Luffy at Enies Lobby. But basically, he's here, it's awesome. We even get a small cameo from Long-Nosed Kaku and even Stussy, who made her first big appearance in the Whole Cake Island arc. So this might come as a shock, but Momonosuke is having a really tough time with stopping Onigashima. They basically give us our Planet Namek rule, which is to say we're about 5 minutes from Onigashima just crushing the Flower Capital. How no one in the Flower Capital has peripheral vision and they don't see this giant fucking island that's getting ready to annihilate them is beyond me. But Momonosuke, of course, is struggling. He's still trying to learn how to use his Fire Cloud abilities. So little by little, you can see that Onigashima is starting to break apart, and essentially he's just flipping his dragon shit. And then probably doing that too because Yamato actually had to leave him, because she's going to go to the top of Onigashima because there's a lot of bombs and weapons and things that she actually has to stop to try and, you know, lessen a little bit of the damage that's going to be happening. The coolest thing about this scene, however, and I think this is actually the first time we've seen her full hybrid form in her wolf form, and it is just awesome looking. If anybody's ever played the video game Okami, she basically looks just like Amaterasu, which is just incredibly awesome, super swift, and very mythological, which of course ties into her form. I hope we get to see a little bit more of this in action and maybe get to see her like fight in this form, because a lot of the other people on Onigashima actually notice her, and they're not just gonna let her do what she wants. Still, it was a really great thing to see. But let's get to the main event here. Sanji versus Queen. In the last chapter, we had Zora versus King, which obviously is not wrapped up yet, and I had a feeling they were probably going to get to Sanji and Queen's battle this week, and it was nothing short of really fun and just batshit insane. Most of this actually comes from Queen, because for the most part, Sanji is just desperately trying to dodge all of this dude's attacks. Getting to see Queen in his hybrid form, utilizing his weird robotic arm and lasers, his giant sword, and just the fact that, oh yeah, he's a giant fucking Brachiosaurus, man, who's incredibly powerful. But even with that, Sanji still manages to get a couple of hits on him. I especially love this one big kick move he does where he hits him in the stomach, basically turning his stomach into a giant hamburger. They even put the girl marks on there. I thought that that was actually kind of funny. But then, like I said, there's that one moment where they're like, you know what? This isn't quite weird enough. Let's put another layer of fuckery on top of this chapter. So we should have seen this coming, because we've seen that all of the people who work directly under Kaido just have the most insane abilities when it comes to zone type abilities. I mean, we know the gifters because they're like these weird amalgamated Frankenstein guys, but the people who are like his main lieutenants take things to a new level, especially those who transform into dinosaurs. We've already seen this with some hints, like with the character of Who's Who and everything, but here, Queen just does something that honestly left my jaw on the floor and I couldn't quite make heads or tails of it. And that's because he is quite literally able to launch his entire neck from his Brachiosaurus body, leaving them into two separate pieces. It's like some sort of weird, fucked up Zord, like breaking itself apart. It makes no sense whatsoever. Basically, his Brachiosaurus neck transforms into a giant snake. He even calls it the Brachio snake, and basically this just allows him to transform into a giant anaconda monster. He's able to completely wrap up Sanji and hurt him, and then he does the thing that all classic villains do. They monologue and fuck things up for themselves. Essentially, we get to see that Queen has this other ability. While his body is alone when the neck detaches, he can summon rockets from his sides, like all Brachiosaurus do, and when he actually mentions this for the first time, it's like a secret code that ends up launching them, and both he and Sanji just end up getting blasted with rockets. Try to think about how this scene works and you'll understand how fucking weird this really is. But essentially this allows Sanji to free himself, but he is just jacked the fuck up. Maybe the most damaged we've ever seen him throughout the entire series. Like, he's actually walking kind of like a zombie, his leg is completely broken, he is just destroyed, and yet suddenly his body starts to repair itself in a way that we've never actually seen before. Now, of course, this is probably the manifestation of his Vinsmoke abilities, maybe even possibly tied to the Lunarian stuff. I don't know, maybe he's not a Lunarian at all. Maybe that whole drug that his mother gave him when he was a young child is finally starting to wear off, and those distinctive Vinsmoke abilities are coming into play. Whether this is something that was naturally imbued into him by Judge, or something that had to do with him wearing that raid suit that transformed him, remains to be seen. The fact of the matter is, Sanji's body could just heal itself now. No problem. Not only that, but it's also toughening him up, as the very end of the chapter ends with Queen throwing his sword right into the back of Sanji's head. And what happens? It fucking breaks in two! Sanji isn't feeling anything, and rather than be elated over the fact that he wasn't just decapitated by a fucking dinosaur, he's actually afraid of the fact that he might become a monster himself, just like his family. The Vinsmokes were introduced in Whole Cake Island, but the fear that he felt from seeing them again from so long is finally coming back to the forefront of the story. I just hope that eventually Sanji is going to be able to embrace the powers that were actually given to him by his family and not see it as something of a detriment, because he needs all the help he can get, lest another dinosaur person comes up and decides to start launching even more limbs at his fucking cook ass. So what's the rundown on the latest chapter of One Piece? This one was fun. Whereas Zoro vs. King was really intense and hardcore, this was a more classical, lighthearted kind of battle that kind of reminded me of the ones that I saw in the first half of One Piece, and I don't necessarily think that that's a bad thing. The good thing is, while it was goofy, ridiculous, and insane, it was backed up by a lot of really good tension with the stuff at the very beginning with CP0, which arguably is the most interesting thing about this chapter. I mean, don't get me wrong, I loved Sanji vs. Queen, but every time CP0 comes back, I'm always like, oh yeah, those guys are in this arc too. I wonder what they're going to be up to. And big shock, it has to do with Nico Robin, as it always does. Still, I'm excited to see what Rob Lucci is actually going to do if he's going to take a more active role. I would like to see Kaku return. I mean, think about it. Kaku's in the same location as Zoro. Wouldn't that be great to see sort of like a mini rematch between those characters? Hell, Luffy throwing down with Rob Lucci again I think would be really awesome, if only again to see how strong these characters have become. We know what Luffy can do, what he's capable of. The dude's Yonko level at this point. But what can Rob Lucci do? But everything that's going on with Yamato is actually kind of a wild card thing at the moment, with her actually appearing in her hybrid form. Maybe they could do something more with her character. The fact that she's not going to have like a big battle with Kaido and it's just Luffy versus Kaido, I kind of want to see her have like a fight against someone. I don't know who that could be because there's still many other fights that we actually have to wrap up at the moment, and do we even really need another conflict right now? But again, she's such a new character and I just want to see her in action. Sanji has gotten so much development since the Whole Cake Island arc, and this is him finally starting to come into his own and develop into something a little different, and they're still doing a great job of keeping it mysterious. I actually just did a whole video all about him possibly being a Lunarian and connected to all that stuff, which, by the way, link for that at the end of this video, make sure to check it out. But I'm starting to lean a little bit more to maybe just the Vinsmoke kind of thing. Like, that might actually be what's truly going on here, but I didn't know it actually went beyond just, you know, having that technology at their hand. The fact that he can heal himself and literally take like a sword to the back of the head, when Zoro finds out about this shit, he's gonna be pissed. Like, this is crazy. This is a great evolution for Sanji's character, so I just can't wait to see more of that. But I have a feeling we got a pattern going here. We're probably going to see more battles when we go into the next chapter with other people, and little by little we're just gonna start like recycling between all of them, and before we get to their climaxes, and ultimately Luffy versus Kaido. Basically, what I'm trying to say is this was a really fun, exciting, and absolutely crazy chapter of One Piece, which is more than worth your time. You definitely need to check it out. You know that I liked it. I loved this one a lot. I'm giving it a 5 out of 5. Pure entertainment value for me across the board. But I really want to hear from you guys. How did you feel about the latest chapter of One Piece? How about that CP0 stuff? What are they actually going to do? Are they going to reveal the mysterious other members, the big boss with the mask? Do you want to see Rob Lucci return in a battle? What about Kaku and Stussy? And then, of course, there's Queen versus Sanji. How do you think this battle is going to end? And what's the deal with Sanji anyway? What sort of evolution is his character going through? Let's have a big discussion all about it in the comment section below. Otherwise, that's it, my friends. Thank you for watching this video. I'll see you all next time. And as always, stay dandy, baby.